Let's try it with audio. I was like, we're going to be all professional tonight. And I didn't have any audio, so here we are. Okay, so welcome back to the Great American Witch. We took a week off, so I'm glad we're back. It's been a while. We are on session 7 of the Great American Witch, which is probably the session after the halfway point, so, you know, things might heat up tonight. If you want to catch up on the past episodes, go to happyjacks.org, Great American Witch. And to find all of the shows on Happy Jacks, go to happyjacks.org/shows. I'm Christopher Gray. I'm the game's guide and creator. I actually have a couple of announcements tonight I'm pretty excited to talk about. First off, we will finally have a copy of the Great American Witch for you as soon as September. We're launching a short 2-week Kickstarter campaign on August 10th, and it's really just to recoup costs because the idea was with Gallant Knight that we just want to get it out and get it in your hands. It's ready to go. So that's going to be done over a 2-week period starting on Monday, August 10th, and then we're going to fund it real quick and then send it to you as soon as we can. So hope to see you there. Also, I wanted to point you out to a cause that I'm helping out with. I think some of you might watch the RPG Academy, maybe, or listen to. It's a really interesting podcast. They have a lot of actual plays and stuff. But one of the people there, Caleb G, is doing a fundraiser for Pelotonia, which is a cancer research organization. And he's selling off raffles. And if you win one of those raffles, you can get a session run by me. So if that sounds interesting to you, go check out the Caleb G on Twitter, and there's all of the information there. So I think that's enough about me. I feel like we've been talking a lot about me. Why don't we talk about some of our players? Who wants to go first? I think we usually start with Emily.
Sure. Hi, I'm Emily Vanderworth. I play Abigail Hawks, who is of the craft of Hekate, which means she can see ghosts and talk to dead people and stuff, regular Haley Joel Osment. And I apologize for the fact that I will be eating, but I'll be muting my mic while I do that because I'm a professional podcaster and know what I'm doing.
Thank you. I would like to add that I am having coffee and chicory from Cafe du Monde, which is a cafe in New Orleans, Louisiana, and that may or may not have to do with events that are going to happen tonight. Jim, you want to take it?
Sure. My name is Jim, and I'll be playing Cabe, who is a practitioner of the art of Hekate. I'm sorry, not Hekate, but whatchamacallit? Where is it? Why am I lost? But
what game is this?
Back off my craft. Back off my craft.
Terra. Craft of Terra. All of my documents went away from my screen. And I am the local lawyer and keeper of the peace and maintainer of the balance.
At the end of the day, the crafts all become one. To be a member of the 7, you have to have mastered all of the crafts. That might be related to tonight as well. Joe.
Hi. I'm Joe, and I will be playing Albert. Albert is the craft of the spider grandmother. He can see the future. He can divine things, and he might destroy cities if necessary. He might have to pull that out, but it's all good. It's all good. Don't worry. We're fine.
He's mean on the dance floor too, right?
Yes, he cuts a rug.
Okay, cool. Unfortunately, Matt can't make it tonight. She's in the middle of moving and all kinds of things, but we will have her back on the next session. Mel actually is in an interesting place, so it's not a bad time for Mac to take a week off. She has some issues to deal with. If we recall, on the last session, many weeks ago, the foster mother that she had accidentally turned into a vampire came to attack, try to destroy her and Albert, who happened to be there. And while the conflict was resolved, I think there's some more going on with that. So I think Mel needs to be off handling that situation. In the meantime, the reason Albert was the only one there was because the rest of our intrepid coven had decided to go off to New Orleans. I don't remember why, to drink some hurricanes and eat beignets. I can't remember why. Oh, right. Because they have to talk to the Seven, who will be hopefully helping with the situation that's coming. Because as we remember, the winter solstice is coming, which is aligning with the solar eclipse, and that's going to create a lot of problems. There's apparently a rebel coven of the storm that is trying to use all of the power to bring an ancient Celtic goddess of destruction into the material world in order to create their agenda, which is to destroy the society as we know it. And the reason they can do this is because there happens to be a descendant of the Ravens that that will make this all possible, and that's Raven, who is our teenager who we have rescued and have brought to safety in the coven. So that's a quick recap. I think covers almost everything. One thing that I'm not clear about was what exactly the room service order looked like for Abigail as she discovered New Orleans for the first time.
Yeah. So first you got to start with just a big bowl of gumbo. You get through that. I think you want a couple beignets to have a little sweet something. Then you're going to go on some andouille sausage prepared, in nice like duck fat or something. Probably then you want to have some like nice thick potato wedges. That everywhere you can get great potatoes, but in New Orleans. And then I think you're going to roll off with like, boy, I don't know. This is not a New Orleans, but it sounds real good to me right now. A nice waffle with ice cream and powdered sugar. I think that was Abigail's menu that night. Yeah.
So the Richelieu is serving up the tourists. This is the hotel that you're all staying in. Now you met Clara, who is one of the 7, and you know about Lola, who I think there's suspicions that maybe she's in it with this rebel crew, but I don't know that that's been verified. So why don't we take it with a quick montage so we can introduce yourselves, what you're doing. This is the morning after you've arrived in New Orleans. This is the morning after Albert had to deal with an invading vampire and the damage that caused. Like that vampire threw a support beam, cracked the linoleum in the kitchen, maybe hurt your shoulder. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't have harm in this game, so I guess, whatever that means.
I've taken some conditions.
Right. So why don't we do a quick montage and introduce your characters? Who wants to go first?
I can't even. I'm going to New Orleans with everybody, or am I staying home? I can't even remember.
Yeah, you're in New Orleans at the Richelieu with
Okay.
Abigail. Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay.
Well, you got your own room because you came into some money.
Yeah.
Yeah. By way of magic.
That's a fancy way to come by some money. I need to figure out how to do that in real life.
Yeah, I could use some.
I remember where I was, so I can start.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Abigail, it's like 7:30 in the morning, and Abigail hasn't slept. She's been up all night texting with her fiance. That's all a little unclear. Megan. And it's the first time they've really been honest with each other, both about Abigail and about Megan's sister, Jocelyn, who was trans and died closeted. So it kind of starts as a conversation about Jocelyn, turns into a conversation about Abigail, and before you know it, it's 7:30 in the morning.
So you've been up all night. You're looking and feeling your best.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just, I get more room service, get some coffee, ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Awesome. And what was, oh man, see, it's been so long. I started forgetting character names. I feel terrible. What is Jim's character's name?
Cabe.
Oh no. Cabe. I wanted to say Cole. I'm like, that's not right. All right. So Cabe, what is Cabe doing then this morning?
I think Cabe actually took advantage of the fact that he is in one of the most wonderful cities in the world and got up early, dressed himself in a nice white linen suit, and walked out to Cafe du Monde, and actually had some beignets and some chicory coffee for breakfast, and just sort of people watched in the French Quarter.
This is a pretty good time of year to be there. First week of December, crowds aren't very thick. You could actually get a seat at the table.
Yeah, and then just sort of sitting there with my coffee, and I have a local paper, and I'm just sort of like relaxing and enjoying the sights and sounds. I figure I'm sitting at a nice little table, and there's some musicians playing some jazz, not too far away, where it's not so loud, but it's just the right ambiance. And you just see Cabe just put down the cup of coffee, put down the newspaper, and just close his eyes and take a deep breath and just takes it all in. And sort of between the music and the beautiful architecture and the coffee and the food, he basically just is, all of this pain and all of this hardship and all of this anger is all worth it to preserve, because this is pretty freaking wonderful. And he just sort of like lives in the moment.
Would you say all the pain has been dissolved into a sea of powdered sugar?
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds nice. Albert, which I can remember because you put the name tag up. Thank you. What's Albert doing this morning after all that?
So Albert is just kind of putting things together, making sure the other guests at the home have not been overly disturbed and they're okay. And he's just kind of surveying.
Are there other guests?
I kind of like the idea that there are always like maybe one or two just transients and people just needing a place to crash. So there's always that there. But I see Albert right now kind of surveying the house and the damage done. And he's on his new cell phone, his smartphone, and he's typing in, "Please Google building supplies, thank you." And there's just strings and strings of him doing these kinds of searches on his phone. And then eventually he realizes that he's able to download programs. He doesn't call them apps, he calls them programs. And he's now installing Uber and all of the stuff, and he might go on some adventure today to get some building supplies because he doesn't drive.
All right. So that's how we start. So Clara comes to pick you up, those of you in New Orleans. This is I think at this point we're going to call it a momentum, because I do want to retain narrative control, but I don't know that this is going to necessarily yield conflicts. So she comes to pick you up, and I think by this point I'm assuming that Cabe has gone back to the hotel after the beignets.
Oh yeah.
So she comes probably around about 9 a.m, which for New Orleans is early. And she comes into the lobby of the Richelieu. She's sort of young. I mean, especially for a member of the Seven, she seems very young. I mean, she can't be more than 30. And she's, this young black woman, nicely dressed, but not overdressed. Definitely a local. And she just sort of waits in the lobby. And when she arrives, though, you can both feel that she is here. There's no message sent, but there's sort of I feel her. And you remember having met her last night, that she has a very large presence. And she's back, patiently waiting. Did we lose audio?
No. I'm just thinking. I would not. I'm gonna hang back a little bit, even though I was invited here. I was invited to come to New Orleans. I think everybody sees in me that I could be one of the Seven someday, but I'm playing it cool. I'm really just hanging back.
What about Cabe? Is he going to go down or?
Yeah, I'll go down and greet.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to follow Cabe. I'm going to follow Cabe. But yeah.
She stands up. Pleased to meet you. Points to your shirt. Yeah, some powdered sugar left over.
How untidy of me. I'm so sorry. But the treats here are hard to pass up.
I had hoped to take you to Cafe du Monde. Is 2 trips in a morning too much?
No, not at all.
As my pappy used to tell me, the only thing better than a crawfish dinner is 2 crawfish dinners.
Well, we're not at crawfish hour yet, but I do think we could settle for some beignets.
Lovely.
Yes, please.
Very good. Why don't we walk?
Of course, that's the best way to get around here other than the trolley.
And Richelieu's not all that far from Cafe du Monde, so you get to walk through the lower French Quarter, go up Bourbon Street, the whole thing.
The sun is very hard for me to be staring into, but I'm making it work.
It's a clear day. There isn't a whole lot of chill in the air, even at this time of year, but it's nice, pleasant. You can see St. Louis Cathedral off in the corner. You can see all of the landmarks sort of as you're going through. Cafe du Monde is a sort of open cafe, sort of, kind of partially covered. It's busier than it was when Cabe was there earlier, but it's not that busy. And she finds an empty table. Now, tables sit 3, but, she kind of brings some other tables close in so that there's more room for more people, even though it's just the 3 of you.
Well, I go in and make sure that I pull out the chairs for the ladies and seat myself after that. Just all smiles and happy.
Thank you. It's very sweet. Very gentlemanly of you.
Well, when in Rome. Well, when in Rome.
I'm just going to start asking Clara about tourist stuff I should see while I'm here. I'm just I don't travel a lot. So, if you have any recommendations I should see before we go, just please let me know.
Well, you should definitely take the cemetery tour, but don't go unless you're on a tour. It can be a little dangerous up there. I do recommend that you go to Lafitte's, which is the oldest bar in America.
Ooh.
I think maybe the alligator tour is always fun if you want to get out of town a bit.
Also want to visit some of the voodoo stores around here.
Oh, sure. And there's some real magic in them, too. Many of them don't even realize they're witches. We have a lot of Age witches. It's very vibrant for our community, very safe for us here.
Well, I can see why we've chosen this as a capital of sorts.
Well, in the time, we didn't really have a choice. Our ancestors were fleeing the witch trials, and the French colony was one of the only safe places that they could go away from the Puritans. And we just never really left.
Well, practicality states that you stick with what works, right?
Sure. And we do have our problems, of course, but it is a sanctuary, I think.
Well, we have plenty of those, but I don't want to speak on that in this particular venue. I just wish to enjoy myself for a while.
Well, time is of the essence. And when she says that, things sort of slow down around you. And you feel a waft of magic washing over you. This is something that you probably have never experienced before. The waiter has just brought the beignets, and as he was turning around, sort of slow motion begins to walk away. Everything sort of slows to a crawl, except for the 3 of you. And you have beignets.
Yeah, that'll do.
Maybe a little bit of privacy.
Mighty kind of you. I appreciate it.
Is this because I didn't?
But it's very, very slow.
Is this because I didn't sleep last night? Is everybody seeing this?
Just drink some more coffee. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Well, we don't usually sanction non-sanctioned magic, but in New Orleans, sometimes we have a little bit more leeway.
Well, has anyone spoken to you about what we've already stated as our current situation, or do you need a briefing from the beginning?
No, I did some divinations. I think I'm caught up. So are the rest of the 7.
Oh, that's fabulous.
And at that point, trickling one by one, but at normal speed, contrast to everybody else, are 5 more people. I don't know how associated Cabe is with the 7. If he's associated at all, he would recognize them. But even if he doesn't, both of you would definitely feel their presence.
Well, I think that I would keep myself educated enough to be able to recognize them and know a little of them. Whether I actually know them or not, I doubt, or have any real interactions. But I do believe that I probably would at least be educated as to who they are and what they do, at the very least.
Yeah, so then you recognize them. I mean, to anybody else, they would just be regular New Orleans people. But you can both recognize, you can sense the power, and Cabe might even recognize some faces. There's it's kind of an older guy an older black guy that's wearing, very simple clothing. Looks like he might be a street busker of some sort. He's coming in. There's a woman that could pass for a politician, but like a young, vibrant, time-changing kind of politician. And there's kind of a big, heavy white guy who you would see probably at any bar in New Orleans. There's also I would say a homely older woman. Looks like some sort of an academic. But as you're doing the math in your head, you see that Lola is not there. Just by their presence, you can identify, well, obviously, since they're moving at the same speed and they're also very powerful in their presence, it must be the 7. But there is one missing. And they kind of clumb in. Oh, and there's one more. There's a woman that is completely decked out, and she's a dancer, so very revealing. Probably on the queen side more than on the other side. And they're just sort of kind of coming in, but they're not exactly engaging with you. They're just sort of walking in saying, okay, we're here now. We've been summoned. Here we are. There's not let's have some beignets. They're like, what's going on?
Okay. Well, I'm just going to sit, and basically I'll stand when everybody comes down to sit, and I'll greet them and kiss, shake hands, whatever, and introduce myself, and introduce Abigail.
Hi, Abigail. Abigail is very acutely aware that she feels like she's like the 7-year-old that's been invited to sit at the adults table. So she's just like sitting aside quietly, just kind of watching what's happening. But I think also scanning the restaurant to see if there's anything amiss, or see if she can spot any spirits who might give her some clues.
Okay. Do you want to do an awareness, or are you going to do an outright divination?
I'm going to just do an awareness for now.
Okay.
Remind me what that is. I didn't say what aspect I'm in.
That's true. You do need to know that. Awareness is wisdom.
Yeah, I think. I think that I'm going to be. God, it feels. It's early morning. I didn't sleep. I'm probably in Crone. It's really. It's really too bad.
But you're being honest, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. It just, how it is. All right. So awareness plus wisdom.
You're confronting, I'm going to call it coven meet, which is sort of like the all of the 7 are together.
Well, I got an 11. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, I knocked my headphones out. Okay, what you do pick up on is that they are on high alert. Every one of them are battle ready.
Mm.
The mundanes are in a completely different time frame altogether. Like, this is all happening faster than a fly swatting its wings. This is happening extremely fast for them, so they don't even see this going on. You're moving faster than light. And that's what your awareness tells you. Also, they are ready to throw down. There's some serious things going on, and they are definitely battle ready. I'm going to subdue this conflict. It's still on the table.
I'm going to nudge Cabe and like text him under the table. Yo, seems bad.
I smile at her and nod. Well, once everybody is set down and settled, I go, it's very fine of you to meet with us on such short notice. Thank you so much.
Carlos says, I will speak for the coven and say that we are extremely concerned with what is happening in Salem. We are doubly concerned that we've lost contact with Lola during the night.
Far be it from me to speak ill about anyone, especially when they're not present. I usually like being very direct, but we've had some suspicions about her being involved with this plot in some way, shape, or form. Her behavior before was, let's just say, aloof and sort of aggressive with no other purpose. We just had some feelings.
He did invite me down here, so that was nice.
Yes, I'm not sure that she expected you to come. She looks
Well,
at the
like,
others.
it's kind of like every witch has to come here, right? Like, it's like, you know, having to like visit Key West before you can graduate from college, right?
Despite that, be careful what you wish for.
See? This guy.
Nonetheless, the invitation was made. It was very gracious at that point. And seeing that we do not wish to resolve problems that are technically over our heads, we decided once we've actually gathered the information to come speak to you, especially since the upcoming gathering is going to be at our domicile.
Well, I think we've all divined to see what is possible during this gathering. And we are far too late in the calendar to call it off. And even if we did, that wouldn't change the objective of the Storm Coven.
Agreed.
Where is Albert?
He is at home.
Albert, you're suddenly standing in an open cafe. There are beignets on the table, and a bunch of mundanes walking kind of in extremely slow motion. Except for the witches that are present, that seem to be moving normally. Again, we don't usually use unsanctioned magic, but I think we can make an exception. Hello, Albert. We are the Seven.
Yes, of course. Hello. I was
Albert,
not aware that I would be needed here.
Imagine how Albert, like with a hammer in his hand, as he was trying to fix something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Albert, you have to try these. They're called beignets. They are so good.
They are indeed.
Yep. Have a seat. And actually, I think it's probably a wise idea, especially since you're the one that has familial involvements in this.
Albert kind of shifts uncomfortably. He visibly, well, he's a bit disoriented, just kind of being bamped over here. But then he's like, he doesn't want to be here right now.
It's also extremely humid compared to Indiana. It's
right, and he's he's not dressed properly, and And then he's looking, he's trying to cancel his Uber, and he's trying to figure all of this stuff out. And he's just very distracted. But he's physically present and seated with everyone.
Cafe au lait.
Water will be just fine, thank you.
Oh, well, I'm afraid that's all we have because everybody's moving rather slowly.
Of course, yes. Whatever is convenient.
The older busker man kind of stands up and sizes you up. Your mother's a real pain in the ass, if you don't mind me saying.
Frankly, I'm relieved that I'm not the only one that has that opinion of her.
Carla says, Samson, I'm the voice. We discussed this. And so he backs off.
I give him a little nod.
Did you know that your mother was in New Orleans?
I knew that my mother survived our last encounter many years ago. I knew that she would not stop. Beyond that, I did not know where she kept herself, and I made it my focus that she not discover my fate either.
She has. Are you sure you don't want a beignet?
Albert's just gonna take what's being offered, and then he takes, a sampling, and then he's just shocked for a moment at how amazing it is, and yeah, he's gonna he's gonna enjoy the beignet. But then he snaps back and says, I many years ago tried reaching out. Can I have more? Thank you. Many years I tried to warn all of you. The only one that would take my audience was Lola. And every attempt I made to warn of my mother and her intent, of her potential, was met with more excuses, more cold shoulder. And for many years, I thought she spoke for all of you.
You are choosing to turn the situation around on the 7.
No, I'm honestly sharing. Like, for many years, I thought Lola spoke for all of you. Like, this is new to me. Like, why am I here? I thought you guys all decided.
You have to understand, we are somewhat secluded and a little bit antisocial, and we don't generally deal with our greater organization. So our knowledge of these things is somewhat limited. And, when we were confronted with someone of the 7, we simply assumed that she carried the full authority of the 7 regardless, and just treated her accordingly. And that's pretty much it.
Carla looks up and the heavy white guy walks over. She whispers something in his ear. And then he walks back with a satisfied nod. Could you find your mother if you had to?
Yes.
Please do.
What would be the next step, assuming that I can find her?
Al will take care of it.
Forgive my impertinence, but am I to understand that Lola did not communicate with the rest of you what I've been trying to tell her all these years?
Lola has not.
Albert's gonna sit stunned for a while.
Albert, these are Look, I'm never going to speak ill of anyone's kin, nor am I going to wish ill on anyone's kin. That's not really the way I do things, but we are faced with a situation that must be dealt with, and simply dealing with the zealotry that we are confronted with, there may be little options in our methodology for being able to resolve this. What are your feelings on that, personally?
Albert remained silent.
We have the means to revoke her power. We just need to know where she is.
Albert, so much is at stake here, and I know this is a difficult time for you, but all I can do is encourage you to do the right thing and to act in the best benefit of everyone involved. And that's all I'll say about it.
No, that will never be in doubt. I just wish I had not wasted so many decades. This ends. I'll do whatever I must.
Then let's get
Just
to it.
Promise me that you'll do right this time. End it for good. Take her seriously.
I'll take your condescending tone in stride. But I want you to understand something. We are the Seven. We handle things that nobody else can handle.
I apologize. I am not myself at the moment. I'm still struggling to determine what that even means. I forget myself. Forgive me. You have my obedience.
There's a sudden tremor. If you were in the mundane world, it would have felt like a jolt. But because time seems to have slowed down for you, it's more of a roll. And a crack begins appearing on the floor of the Café du Monde, and we are moving into a menace. The crack is like the concrete floor splitting, and it's sort of snaking slowly underneath the table. When you see that, what does your aspect do?
Guess I'll go into crone. Or, you know what? No, starting in this whole thing, I was in mother, so I'm going to say I'm in mother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to shift to mother. I think that's where I am when I'm suddenly alert.
I'm shifting into crone.
There's a familiar energy behind it. And it's magic that you've cast before. I'm talking to Albert.
Mm-hmm.
But it is coming with such a force, it's almost incomprehensible. It's almost like a tidal wave is coming, but it's coming at an extremely slow pace.
Mm.
And you've never witnessed this kind of power before. I doubt that anybody has. Maybe Cabe. I don't know. We don't really know his whole story necessarily, but certainly the Seven are alert. Well, the Six. Let's call them the Six. Carla immediately jumps to her feet and is looking down. The others are sort of backing up. And the crack is just expanding and now splintering.
I'm going to do what I can to counter it. I know this magic. Am I correct in suspecting that this is my mother? or do I not
It
know
feels
enough
like something she would do,
based
but
on
it
the
seems
signature?
way too powerful for her.
Yeah.
But it's the right
Okay.
flavor. It's like, somebody put vodka in the Mountain Dew,
Right. This is her style. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna do everything I can to counter it. So I have nothing of the natural world can harm the subject. I'll say like the subject is just our vicinity, our environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that might work for your immediate vicinity. So let's see what happens. You're confronting a crack on the floor. I tried moving over to the tabletop, but something's not working technically, so the audience will have to view
Crack
in their
on the
minds,
floor.
I suppose.
Play along at home. Shall I roll for that?
Yes.
And this is at woe or
You're in a menace, so that means that all magic but your aspect is at woe.
okay, cool, good. Not great. I have a 4.
Okay. All right. So, well, first of all, what does it look like when you cast a spell? What's going on?
So with Albert, all of his spells are like very, very subtle, but in this instance,
My love, thank you.
Albert is he's lowering himself down as if to like physically ground himself and try to contain the tremors, and he just keeps seeing in his mind the tremors reducing and forming back together, like literally trying to counter everything that he's seeing. And he's spinning all of this through his connection with the spider grandmother, just basically seeing every instance of this being countered in his mind and holding that intent, but he's not doing too well.
So when he kind of like takes it up in his mind, the force just goes through like a fire hose and snaps some of Albert's ribs, maybe 3 or more. It's coming inside that the force is expelling.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Albert comes tumbling to the ground. The other witches are standing up and they're trying to weave and they're looking around confused, and you see Carla gets flipped back, smashes the table, beignets, powdered sugar everywhere. And now, I mean, this is a serious threat. One of the 7 just got knocked down. Floor is splintering, cracking, and beginning to cave in.
Chris?
Yeah.
Are there any statues around here? I don't know New Orleans well enough.
I've been to Cafe du Monde a number of times. I can't think of where but there might be something like, well, what are you looking for? There might be like a water fountain or something.
I have a spell that will let me return a spirit to its body, and New Orleans is full of ghosts, but not so full of bodies. I want to see if I can put a spirit and a statue to do some fighting stuff.
You want to make like a golem?
Yeah.
I think we might need to stretch the city a bit, but I imagine that there would be like a water fountain with a statue of I don't know. This is Catholic territory, so maybe it's like one of those
like
baby angels.
Oh yeah, like a cherub.
Cherub, thank you.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna say the angel Michael is
we can do
there's
that,
a statue.
sure.
Yeah, the angel Michael, nearby church.
Yeah. Okay. You can confront the same conflict crack on the floor because this is what you're going after, right?
Yes. All right, this is also a spell. So that is a 9.
Okay. So you're able to locate something that you need, a vessel. What spirit are you putting into it?
There's a spirit.
Thank you for following Scuba Tuck 94.
There's a spirit sort of. There's like a second story here. I'm just making this up. I've never been to this place. There's like a second story here, and like in the window, I can see the spirit of a woman who looks out toward where the sea would be, and I just sort of intuitively know that she's like the wife of a captain who was waiting for her husband to come home, and he died at sea because of pirates. And I just intuitively know all of this stuff, and she looks like angry. She looks like she's just like angry at having been here so long. So I just kind of like create a path. I like extend a hand in her general direction, and she can feel it. And she like takes, excuse me, she like takes my hand and sort of flows through me. And then I direct her toward the statue, which is at a church just down the street. And I think that then this statue sort of slowly shakes itself and comes to life.
Okay. We'll say it's across the street.
Okay.
For a number of reasons, but it'll work if it's across the street.
Yeah.
Chief of which is you rolled a 9. So the statue's inhabited, and this is a statue of Michael, so it has the sword wings kind of cracking into life and begins walking down the steps and coming out onto the street. But the problem is that while the statue can move at witch speed, it is still moving very slowly. So in other words, mundane is still moving almost infinitesimal rates around. Like there's a car going, but it's like that. Michael's walking, but he's still just a statue. And it's going to take a moment for him to get there.
Okay.
In the meantime, you've subdued the crack. That doesn't mean the crack has stopped. In fact, it's turning into more of a pit. And it looks like the foundation of Café du Monde is actually collapsing beneath. And you are at the epicenter of it, all of you. What's next?
Guess I'll try doing something cool. Okay, so I'm going to spend a point to go into Crone. Oh, no, wait, because rolls are basically... Oh, yeah, because I'd have to do that because then my rolls would be at disadvantage if I didn't. Right, okay.
If you want to use a Crone spell, yeah.
So I will do that, and then what I do is I take up a little pocket watch and then just go, wow, that's moving real slow. Plenty of time. Put it back, walk over to where there's a dustpan and broom. I grab the broom, and I sort of start sweeping up around the place to fix it up a little bit. And I will cast my divination, which is switch immediately to Maiden, and heal a subject or reconstruct something that was destroyed.
Okay, now the conflict that you are confronting is subdued. So.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
You can.
I thought it wasn't.
You can spend another charm to go after it, or I can give you a charm if you allow me to escalate it and turn it into a new conflict.
What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, you probably only have one charm, so I don't think.
I only have one charm. Yeah, but the thing that's crazy is that it's a Crone spell that immediately turns me back into Maiden, which is where I was.
You were Mother, right?
I was Mother, sorry, but still, it just pushes me into another direction.
Yeah, Terra flips around a lot.
You know what? No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move towards Albert and try to and basically try to move him away from the crevasse and put him back into safety.
Okay. All right, so not magic at all.
No,
in
just
that case,
looking out for my friend.
In that case, it's just a standard roll, protect, which is mercy. However, you still have the same problem. Like you can spend that charm to confront crack on the floor, or I can give you a charm to make it worse.
Oh, okay. I wish I could see all the conflicts on the table.
Oh yeah, let me drop it. There's in our drive folder, there's a tabletop link, which I can give to you. It's normally something I would show to the audience as well, but for some reason the technology is not working.
But just right straight up, what are the conflicts that I can actually do something about?
There really isn't. That's why you're in a pickle. Either spin the charm to go after the one conflict that you're dealing with, or I escalate it, and then I give you a charm. So it's like, what happens during dire situations.
Okay. So there's no unsubdued thing to confront.
No. Oh, no, there is. Storm Coven.
Oh.
Sorry, my bad. I was withholding information. So you can confront that. Going after the coven directly. By protecting Albert's mom's son.
Okay, then I will spend a pip. I will go into Maiden, and I will do my divination from there, and I will switch to Mother back and immediately protect the subject from harm.
Okay. Got it. Is the subject like Cafe du Monde?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, okay. All right, let's go for it. See what happens.
Okay, so, and that is Maiden, so that would be Mercy. And I am at disadvantage to this roll, right? Even though I started in the right one?
Because while you're casting, no, it's not disadvantage. Because after you're done, you'll be Maiden.
There we go. So that is an 8.
Okay.
Because I'm taking it that it's wait, what would I'm using a maiden power, so everything goes off Mercy, right? Not the form that I actually end up with after it switches me, or
no,
how does that work?
You're rolling if it's a divination, you're rolling wisdom.
Okay.
But since you are in since you're casting a crone spell, it's not at wheel.
Okay.
And yeah, and you don't get the extra bonus because crone is severity.
It's fine. Then that's an 8. Yeah.
Okay.
And basically I start tracing the cracks on the floor with my fingers and trying to concentrate, and the whole thing sort of like lights, all the cracks light up and sort of like a spider web on the floor. And the thing is, the spider web becomes sticky on my hands, and you can see that I'm just sort of pulling things up, almost as if it was made out of a semi-rubbery sort of like silken cloth, and everything is getting pulled up by it.
You can also feel suddenly that it's happening much easier than it should, and that's because there are other witches helping you when they see what you're doing. Some of the coven. Also, Carla is speeding time up back again. So you are now being brought to the present. That's in motion, though, so you have a moment to adjust if you need to.
Okay.
She's canceling her time spell, in other words.
Okay. Then I'm actually more concerned about the mundanes around here at this point. So
there's plenty. 9 o'clock in the morning on Cafe du Monde.
But I've already sort of done a thing, so
they're about to meet a statue. So
yeah, statue's en route, but there's still a moment or two before it arrives. It has crossed the street, and it's coming into Cafe du Monde. I think that because of the time shift, if you were a mundane, you would see like the don't blink scenario where like the statue keeps it. Why is there a statue in the middle of the road? And then, oh, it's closer now. So it's progressing, but it's going slowly. Time is speeding up. Anything else before it comes back to normal?
Can I cast another magic thing, I guess?
Yeah, you have time.
Okay. So
somebody else wants to do something.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to monopolize. So
Albert is I'm gonna keep Albert in a bad way right now, for story reasons.
Yeah. All right, go for it then.
I will activate the blue Tara under Mother, which is where I'm at. And I'll take a horrifying form that's monstrous, anger lashing out at those around me. Victims of my wrath flee and seek shelter. I'm not really trying to be super killy, but I'm trying to produce something that's so scary that will cause everybody to run the F away.
Okay. I think, yeah. I'm looking at the conflicts. The only thing that might come in, the one you might, if it's Albert's mom that's doing this specifically, you can confront that conflict. But I'm going to let the dice decide that. So I'm going to allow you to confront Albert's mom, and then we'll see what happens.
Sounds great.
And then seriously, we're out of conflicts after that.
That's another 8.
All right. So it was Albert's mom doing that particular spell. So what does your form look like?
I rise up in the form of Baron Zamadi. So it's a corpse-like figure with a top hat, smells of death, is covered in cobwebs, and this eerie music sort of follows him around. And when I manifest in it, sort of like a huge green puff of green balefire, and then just me sort of doing my little voodoo dance with my cane.
So everybody runs the hell away. At this moment, Michael comes into Cafe du Monde and just starts picking up everybody, all of the witches, and like hauling you out. And as Michael turns, the wings come up, these big concrete wings, and stops the ceiling of Cafe du Monde as it collapses on top of you.
Oh,
There's a
geez.
full-on earthquake happening. And Michael has protected all of the 7 and you, the 6 and you, with his wings.
My dad told me this would happen, but not quite like this.
And the poor citizens are now running into the street, but the street is rolling with an earthquake. Buildings are beginning to collapse. Stones are flying through the air.
This does not seem good. Is the earthquake a conflict?
Yes, it is now. I'm adding it as we speak.
Okay. I want to cast a spell. I have a spell about revealing the best path for a subject so that they can find personal happiness and success. And in this immediate conflict, I want us to find the best path to escape whatever is coming. So
Success being not dying.
success being not dying, success being finding a space where we'll have upper ground, just where we'll have an ability to like push back. I'm
Where's
sort
the
of
nearest Olive Garden?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sort of seeing it like, like when you turn on easy mode in like a Mario Kart game and it shows you like the arrow of where you need to go. I'm sort of seeing it like that. But let's find out what happens.
Okay. Confronting earthquake.
Oh, one
I
of
mean,
my
the New
dice
Orleans
just
infrastructure is
fell.
bad enough as it is. Do we need to throw an earthquake at it?
Oh boy, one of my dice just fell, so I'm going to just grab another one. That is a 9 again.
Right. I'm going to also do earthquake. Earthquake's still happening, but it's subdued. So, St. Louis Cathedral is the Olive Garden of New Orleans. And it is not that far away. You're going to have to sprint across the street, get through the courtyard, and then you can get into the cathedral.
Cool. I nod toward Michael and I'm like, cover for us, pal. And then I point to the cathedral and say, we need to get there. We need to get there as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, a thing that I chose long ago on my character sheet that I have a refuge of churches or temples is going to come in really handy right now.
Okay. So the guardian angel or the archangel Michael comes up with the wings and begins helping the other witches out. You can see there's other things going on though. Like they've been a little quiet, right, for being the 7. But once you kind of look up and you're starting to get out of the area from where the restaurant is collapsing, the cafe, you can see that every last one of them is fighting some sort of unseen battle. Carla was with you under actually they all were with you under the angels, but now that things are sort of breaking apart, you can see Carla is casting magic at something unseen. She's literally throwing bolts of energy into the air, but they're disappearing after she throws them. The big white guy is on the ground and trying to push something that you can't see off of him. A couple of the other people are under rubble. It's like they are fighting other battles. And you realize at this moment that you were only dealing one aspect of what's going on. Oh, and there's an earthquake. So Abigail has noted that St. Louis Cathedral, safe house, and you're all going to try to get over there. However, there's an earthquake going on. And since it wasn't a 10 plus success, I'm going to have to make you guys roll to get over there. So either you can address this with a magical solution or a mundane one, but it's not going to be easy to get to the cathedral. There really isn't another conflict in play. The problem here is that there's an earthquake. And this is an old city, and the earthquake is demolishing it at every wave. So I'm going to have to just escalate it, I think, at this point. The conflict that you're confronting is that New Orleans is under sea level.
Well, that's fun.
As the earthquake is breaking apart all of the barriers of the city, and so the city is beginning to flood.
My solution is going to be to rally and just grab people as I can, because I assume there's like innocent bystanders here.
Oh, tons of them. They all left because, Cabe scared the living shit out of them, and they're running for their lives. However, they're running into a rolling earthquake.
Yeah, I'm going to do, I'm going to gather up every ounce of strength and resolve and confidence that I possess and say, hey, follow me. We need to get to the cathedral. I realize, that's the place we can be safe.
Okay.
Said I could do a rally.
New Orleans is under sea level.
Oh, that is an 8. Keep having these mixed successes.
All right. So the mundanes are listening to you because you're the only one that seems to have any authority. What's going on? Are your fellow coven members listening to you?
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay, good. So you're all kind of sprinting across, and you're getting through the courtyard. Now, the courtyard of St. Louis Cathedral is pretty wide open. So while things are falling and there are statues that are toppling, you're able to make it to the cathedral. But as you are going, you hear the sickening screech of ground completely collapsing behind you. Just as you arrive at the cathedral, you can see Café du Monde and all the buildings around it are being sucked down into a hole. A sinkhole has suddenly appeared, and everything is tumbling into it, including the 6. And the earthquake at that moment stops. There's a deathly still silence, even though people are panicking, even though the sounds of buildings are collapsing. You're all in the cathedral, you're right at the threshold, and you're looking out and watching this happen.
I'm stuck in dismay. If the 7 can't handle this, what the hell am I doing? So I think I'm a little shocked. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep running back and forth from the cathedral, trying to grab people and bring them to safety.
The earthquake seems to be over, but buildings are not very resilient here.
Yeah, basically, I'm going to go to buildings that may or may not be very safe, and I'm going to see if I can just save as many people as I can. Try to bring them back to the cathedral.
Yeah.
Did we lose Michael?
No, Michael's with you. He's part of your party.
Great. This is going to be a movie about a girl and her angel statue.
Michael's setting up, being a guardian.
Mm-hmm.
And the mundanes are being shoved into St. Louis Cathedral, which is a large cathedral, can hold a lot of people. Once the crowd starts moving in and Cabe is bringing people out, everybody's starting to see what's happening. And so they're all kind of going into the cathedral. There are priests and deacons inside that are helping people, getting them to safety and shelter. The St. Louis Cathedral seems to be completely untouched by this at least magnitude 7 earthquake that hit New Orleans. And it seems stable and strong and bright and brilliant. And there are lots and lots of images of Louis, but not so much of Jesus. That's weird. But you can see it's it's a safe sanctuary. So everybody's in there. You probably have corralled over 100 people. But you can hear in the city distant crumblings, collapsing. These buildings that were made in the 1700s and the 1800s just cannot stand. And it just over the period of just a few minutes, you could just hear New Orleans falling around you.
Albert, we have to find her, and we have to find her now. She is destroying this entire city, and I can't hear you at all, Albert.
Albert is just cradling his broken ribs. He's more stunned and in shock about what he's witnessing than about his physical pain. You might have to do a roll to snap him out, because there's something narratively happening to Albert.
So that would be make a stand against Albert as freezing up.
Because he's witnessing the spell that his mother was grooming him to do for decades, and now it's happening right in front of him.
Or would it be a rally, since I'm trying to get
like a rally? Yeah.
Rally makes sense. Albert is freezing up as the conflict. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
And
And that is a 10.
Awesome.
Oof.
So that means then that Albert, you get a this was magic. So no, this was a mundane. So you get a charm for going along with Cabe.
Nice, very nice. That will come in handy.
And narrative control.
Albert begins to slowly mend himself as best he can. He's gonna do. I don't know that Albert has any healing. Does anybody have like a restoration or?
You can all do magic even if you don't have the spell. It just happens at will.
Okay, yeah. I'll attempt to heal.
We're still in Menace, right?
Yeah, we're in Menace.
Okay.
So it happened at woe anyway. I'll put a conflict that Albert is hurt on there, because that's true.
Something about those broken ribs and his ability to cast or do magic now.
Breaking from the inside too. I mean, it was like
his
ribs probably punctured his chest.
Right.
I'm going to take off my coat and rip it into strips and start binding him around his midsection, trying to get those ribs immobilized. It's like, Albert, I just feel your side. There's ribs. Okay. He takes off his jacket, starts ripping. Says it's going to hurt a little bit, but it's going to keep you together a little bit more. See if you can do anything else. And I start making the bandages and tying them around.
All right, I'm going to attempt to mend myself. 6.
Okay.
Barely. Raw 6.
No, 6 is
I'm not sure what
6
that's
is
under,
pretty bad.
Yeah.
The binding makes you fall unconscious.
Okay.
It's too much pain.
Cool.
So while you're willing
That
to
actually
help,
works.
you really can't.
That works for something I'm cooking.
But
don't
to
worry.
not to remove you from the game. We're going to come back to you even though you're unconscious.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
So I'm actually spending some time with Albert, making sure that even though he's passed out, that he's okay. I finish up the bandaging, and I grab a flask of bourbon that I keep around with me, and I just start shoving that down his throat.
Okay.
Just
there are deacons or some sort of Catholic somebody's coming over to help.
I'm like, he has broken ribs. He's passed out.
Anything from Abigail before we go to Albert's unconsciousness?
Yeah. This might do the Albert thing first. I think this might be better after that.
All right. So in your mind's eye, Albert, you're unconscious. Not quite a dream state, but unconscious.
Yeah.
You see your mother in this form that she has chosen in this white suit, very well ironed fedora. She's carrying a trumpet case. And she strolls up to you in the darkness. Well, I didn't know you were here, honey.
Would it have changed anything?
No. The 7 were about to find out, so we had to take care of them. I'm sorry, sweetie. But, you know, if you want to come over to the winning side, you're always welcome.
I'm tired. I'm tired of running. I'm tired of trying to not be the thing I always knew, the thing you always knew I would become.
Well, it would have made it easier for all of us if you had just not been so stubborn. But that's okay.
If this is
The
what
world
has
has a
to
way of getting
happen,
us all together no matter what we want.
if this is what has to happen, then let's do it the right way. Let's finish this. I'll give you what you want. How do I find you?
Well, this could be a trick. We'll meet in neutral ground. I have an idea. What about Salem, Indiana?
Why there?
Well, that's where the magic has to happen, isn't it? I think you might be waking up soon. And you do. Since it's a menace, I can do this. You are in so much pain.
Yeah.
But you're awake and you're alive.
Albert slowly gets up and then decides it's not worth the pain, and he just stays laying down. I've made contact with her. She wants to finish this back in Salem, where the eclipse is going to happen. Obviously, that would be in her favor.
All right, let's move into a meeting. The menace is over. You guys can have a bit of narrative control back.
Yeah, you had plenty of time to slap us around. Okay. I'm just basically sort of just holding Joe until he gains consciousness.
Oh, I'm back. So Jim, I think you missed the last few minutes, right? Were you?
Yeah, I had to go do something.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I encountered my mother in my subconscious knocked out state, and basically, she wants us to finish things back in Salem, and
Well, her agenda was to get rid of the 7.
yeah, the whole thing was to get rid of the 7, which she did. She didn't know I was there, but it didn't matter after all. But I kind of played the game of like, okay, let me join you, mother. Like, where would I find you? And she says, we'll finish this in Salem.
Oh my. Okay.
And obviously that would be to her advantage with the eclipse and us without the 7.
Well, God never puts a burden on you that you're not capable of handling. This is obviously our problem. More to the point, obviously your problem with your mother. But we're family, so we'll take it on together.
She stopped being my mother the first time she tried to kill me. Now she's just a monster. She needs to be stopped.
I look you in the eye and I go, whatever it was, whatever happened, there was something in you that made you better than that. Do you understand? You had every opportunity, every guidance, every reason to become that which your mother is. But you decided not to, and you went through an ordeal to avoid it. That is a lot to be said for someone. If anybody's going to be able to end this, it's going to have to be us. Let's get ourselves together and get it going.
What are we going to do about... There's like a city falling into the ground.
Maybe I could take one of my spells and we could work it as a ritual. See if we could expand the area that it covers. See if we can rebuild something that's been lost.
Yeah.
Maybe in this place of power. This place that whose faith has managed to keep it undestroyed. Are you guys willing to help me?
Yeah. Do we think that the 7 are gone forever?
I think that whatever Albert's mom had planned, it definitely has a tone of permanency. She needed them out of her way. They're out of the way.
At least long enough for her to complete what she wanted to do during the eclipse. I doubt the 7 could be so easily eliminated, but they can be disabled.
They have
for
like
our purposes, that's...
Well, I have a feeling...
Go ahead.
I have a feeling that if it wasn't for a member of this conspiracy within their own midst, they wouldn't have been brought together to attack so easily.
They have to have like a designated survivor or something, right? There can't just be like no 7. Like, who's in charge then? Us?
Lola.
Okay.
She's the only standing 7 now.
Yeah. Well, I don't like that at all. Okay, let's do this ritual. Let's try to save as much of New Orleans as we can and as many of these people. And then let's figure out a way to get this angel back to Salem. And yeah, we're going to have to prepare for war.
Yeah, I just kind of picture Michael kind of like scratching the back of his neck.
We're going to have to like ship him UPS. It's going to be very inconvenient. Very expensive.
I caress Michael on the cheek and I'm like, are you sure? Are you bound here? Do you want to stay?
Okay, so this is a coven spell. We'll need to move this into a... let's just call it a momentum, so it'll be a straight roll no matter what. The way coven spells work, as long as there are 3 or more doing the spell, then you don't have to worry about penalties and things like that. You know, the conflict, and it would be New Orleans is broken, or at least the French Quarter. The challenge is there's a massive sinkhole where Café du Monde was, which makes me sad personally.
We're going to bring those beignets back, Chris, for you. For you.
I did get their beignet mix and did make the beignets, and they were pretty good. But it wasn't like that. So that is it's going to be a challenge probably beyond your power to really heal that kind of destruction. But there's a lot that you can do, and we'll just sort of let the dice decide.
Well, basically what I want to do is basically when we do the ritual, I sort of like expand my consciousness throughout the entire city. And you sort of see it sort of almost like an overhead sort of like ping, like a radar. And you see certain spots that are historic and important spots that sort of ping off. And that's sort of the concentration of the ritual, the regular infrastructure, and also the levees and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's targeted on certain points just to make sure that the integrity of the culture of this place survives. I can't do much more than that, but I want to basically preserve the place for hopefully further generations that might come along. It's wishful thinking, but yeah, and that's the thing. So it's my heal a subject or reconstruct something that was destroyed spell. But I just want to do it as a ritual to sort of expand that out and try to improve the possibility of that happening.
Yeah, and according to the book, the more time and effort you put into something, the more powerful the spell will be, on top of being a coven spell. So that's up to you. I mean, you can take it as far as you need it to go, but it is one roll. So the failure will be just as bad.
What I am going to do is I am going to guide everyone in prayer in this place that goes along with it, and the prayer is going to be for the beauty and the culture and the diversity that is New Orleans to be preserved. So I'm trying to add the power of everybody else's faith within this cathedral to help along with the mission.
All right, great. So you're confronting French Quarter is broken. Everybody rolls, and we take the highest two, or the highest two, whoever rolls best.
Okay.
This is a mercy roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have
6, finally. Something over a 4.
6 isn't enough.
I got an 11.
Okay. Awesome.
I have an 8.
Okay, great. So it's a wash, basically, even roll. All right. So you get everybody praying. The deacons, the priests that are there, all of the people that you saved, and for a long time, it seems like everybody's sort of lost in the prayer and the ritual, and there's almost a divine light that just illuminates from the chamber. And when you go out, you can see that while the damage is still there, it's not as bad as it first looked. And everybody is blaming God for that. It's saying, it's a miracle. It's a miracle that while most of Café du Monde fell into a sinkhole, the kitchen remains. And while you can't see it, Lafitte's is still standing after 300 plus years. The oldest bar in America still stands, and the levees are breached, but not irreparable. And so
don't forget Acme Oysters.
And Acme Oysters wasn't even dented. Just because I am the guide and that's what I say is true.
I pigged out there so bad. I love it.
I know there's some people that are like New Orleans, like, oh God, no. It's true. You can get better oysters elsewhere, but
how can one man eat 3 dozen oysters? No one knows.
But it worked. It worked. A lot was preserved. The cemeteries are intact. Many of the shops are intact. But there's still a lot of catastrophic damage. You don't know about the death count, but you saved a lot of people that day. You were at the epicenter.
We can only do what we can do.
Yeah. So I think I can clear out French Quarter is broken, earthquake. The coven meets over.
Well, we saved a major American city today, everybody.
Crack on the floor. You remember that one? All right. So what do you want to do now?
Well, I'm going to get on my phone and research the best shipping rates for a statue.
Also want to know that, so the 7 are their own coven in and of themselves, right?
That's right.
And there's no ancillary persons in that coven whatsoever, just the 7?
It's just them, yeah. It's been that way since they were born. It's 1792 on the centennial of the Salem witch trials is when the first coven meet occurred.
Is there a way that they use to communicate to witches in general?
Usually letters, but they would sometimes appear through the veil like they have with you at least once. But they try to avoid that kind of thing because the coven, the E07 isn't really an administrative body. It's more of a council to help if something goes wrong. But they do like capital crime judgments in severe situations. Shipping rates, I mean, you can put it on a semi truck through like one of those freight liners, get there in a in a week or so
Yeah.
for like a couple $100.
Yeah. I
And you
mean,
have
Cabe's
lots of
got that money.
because of
Yeah.
Cabe's.
No.
Hey, but don't you think we could use a giant stone angel to like fight on our side against evil?
All I need to know is that you want it. Makes me happy.
Are you okay? Are you okay going with us to Indiana, buddy?
The statue is sort of hesitant, as this was a spirit that was pining over a lost captain. And we are in a momentum chapter, so I'm going to make you roll for it.
Damn it! What am I rolling?
You're rolling befriend.
Befriend. Okay.
Statue ghost.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
funny, in my other witch
That's
game,
good.
there is actually the Archangel Michael is a major character in that particular campaign. This is ironic.
Well, once again, I've rolled an 8.
Okay. Well, okay, so Statue Ghost is okay with this as long as she doesn't have to stay in the statue all the time.
Yeah, she can. When we get her to Indiana, she can hang out. We have all kinds of places she can go. Bowls of water, old cell phones. We got all kinds of places a ghost can hang out.
I think she likes you, but mostly she just wants to be separated from the grief that's binding her here.
Okay. Yeah. We can do something about that.
I say so. Albert and his broken ribs. Oh, and plus he got thrown through a wall last night.
Yeah, Albert's been a rough It's been a rough 24 hours for Albert.
I think we're
Man,
gonna buy you some armor or something.
And all because he started using smartphones. He knew it. He saw. Through very pained breaths, and he's not dead, but he's still recovering from his exploded ribs. Albert just mentions that my mother will never stop until she feels the world is safe for witches and only witches. There must be some way to reverse this, talk some sense into her, make her see what she's doing.
Do you believe she's acting rationally?
She believes that she is.
Because you cannot confront irrational people with rationality.
The last time me and my mother stood together, we were about to do a spell very similar to what she did. It was in that moment that I saw the future. I saw the end of which kind. They would hunt us. They would know that we were responsible. I had to stop her. But she couldn't see that, or she wasn't willing to admit it. I don't know if we can fight her with force. There has to be some way to make her see what she's doing.
Oh. We lost Jim.
I agree that there should be a way to make that happen. Albert. While we're here, I'm going to do a spell.
All right. Well, we're still in the mundane.
Yeah. Oh, so I don't need to do a spell. Can I just be like, blah?
We haven't. I was about to switch you into a meeting. So if you would like narrative control, we can just do that because I was planning on doing that anyway.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just want to talk to this lady that's in this statue and figure out what it is that's binding her. And long story short, she feels sort of, I guess I'd say she feels like she like all ghosts sort of have unfinished business, and her unfinished business is not necessarily finding her husband. Her unfinished business is that she spent her life waiting for someone else to give it meaning, and that was not the way to go. So this is like a way for her to give herself meaning so that she can finally cross over and feel like she has accomplished something, at least with her afterlife, even if she didn't in life. And we have a lovely chat about that. She sort of exits the statue to talk about that with me, and she agrees to join me up in Salem, because if she fights against the forces of evil, maybe that'll be enough to make her feel like she's done something with her life.
That sounds great. And she doesn't have to like stay in the statue during shipment. I mean,
no, she can hang out in the back of the truck, she can hang out on the train, and then when she gets to the house, she can. We have all kinds of fun places she could go. We have like an old cathode ray TV. She can absolutely hang out in there, do spooky stuff with that, stack our chairs on our table, whatever she wants.
okay. We lost Jim. I'm just going to check to make sure he's not trying to reach us. Computer shut down, working on it. Okay. Well, he'll be back at some point. All right. So what's the plan? How are you going to get back to Salem? Are you going back to Salem?
I assume that we're going to take a plane again. Which is how we got down here. But I guess, we could ride in the back of a train car with our good buddy, Michael. Or actually, you know what? Her name is Gwen, and we should call her Gwen because that's who she is. Yeah. Even if she's in the body of a giant male angel statue, she's still Gwen. That's who she is.
I like that. That's awesome.
Symbolism.
Albert realizing that he poofed here, he doesn't ever want to be on an airplane, and so if there is some kind of train, he'll volunteer to ride and kind of be an escort for the Michael Gwen package.
So there is Amtrak. I think it would be, I'm just guessing here, at least 2 days to get to Salem, Indiana by train.
I'm going to absolutely check this because I'm fascinated by this question.
Maybe we should. Because the point, though, is that we've only got about... Hey, Jim. We've only got a bit of time before the end of the world.
Oh, no. That was a perfect time for my computer to shut down then.
Well, you didn't miss much, except that the spirit in the statue of Michael is named Gwen. And she is going to be joining because she needs a new purpose and focus in life.
Or unlife.
Yeah. And now we're deciding how long it takes to get to southern Indiana by train from Louisiana.
I'm assuming that like we can travel into Indianapolis and then somebody can come pick us up.
Sure.
Come on, Amtrak, your site is not very good. Imagine that. Yeah.
Someone in chat says Amtrak to New Orleans and Chicago is 19 hours and 30 minutes.
Okay.
So. Yeah. So that was why I was wondering if it like Amtrak New Orleans to Chicago is probably about a day, and then it's probably a couple hours from Chicago to Indianapolis. So it's probably a day and a half.
It's just that just to catch you up, Jim. It's just that Albert doesn't really like planes.
Yeah. Figured.
That's a day. That's not a big deal. I mean, a long day of travel, but
especially I'll go like
2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
Flight.
Albert will do whatever he needs to do, but he doesn't like being in vehicles.
Have we considered just traveling however it is you got down here, Albert? Like, could we just like walk through a door? Actually, I could maybe do that. I've done that before. I put us in the Vale. Couldn't I just like open a door to like Salem? Could I do that? We'll just have to like take a shortcut through the Vale, right? Like it can't be that tough.
I don't know that the Veil is a very safe place right now,
We'll
especially for me.
we'll be in there for 5 minutes tops. Like we'll probably be in there for like 30 seconds. It's just we pop in, we pop out.
Well, yeah, because of course, being thrown up against the wall, nearly killed by an eternal earthquake, facing the destruction of the entire world, that does not overshadow somebody's trepidation about getting in a plane.
We'll have Gwen with us.
I'm willing to traverse the Veil. There might be somebody there I need to talk to anyway. But that's not a risk either of you should be taking.
We'll be fine.
That sounds like a mission.
I feel at home in the Veil, I have to say. And it sounds like a mission.
Trains, planes, or veils. What will it be?
Oh my.
I mean, we should just like rent a car and just like just drive it. Can we do a road trip episode? Let's do a road
Oh, I
trip
could probably
episode.
make it there in like 12 hours.
Slow ride.
It may
Take
be
it
best
easy.
for us to procure conventional means of travel. It's
I'm looking up
not a
Avis in
time
my
to be
phone.
risking.
All right. What do you guys think? Full-size sedan, minivan? What are you guys comfortable in?
Get like a convertible.
We'll have to take
Ooh,
into
classy.
account
The
Gwen.
big Michael statue hanging out.
Actually, we can rent a moving truck.
Mm.
That should probably hold the statue as well.
New Orleans, Salem is 11 hours drive. So we're going to be great.
All right.
It'd be the same as the freight cost to send Michael up there. So, or Gwen
Yeah.
rather.
Yeah, just rent a truck then.
Okay. In a U-Haul. Let's do a montage of you guys on the road trip, of you folk on the road trip. And, going through rural Louisiana.
No,
Mississippi.
I like a little montage of us going through all of these lame little landmarks, like biggest ball of twine and stuff, and then having our pictures taken with the statue in front of it the entire trip up.
I'm sorry. I have to jump in on that. At the biggest ball of twine, Albert walks into the gift shop. He comes out with several bundles of twine. And we'll leave it at that. We'll pop back onto what he's doing with that after.
Of course
Well,
he does.
twine's always useful.
Unlike Cabe's car, this U-Haul has Bluetooth. So Abigail can hook up her phone and play all of the greatest Ariana Grande hits for her friends and tell them what she likes about each song and explain why they don't appreciate her music in the way that they should. And actually she starts crying at like one of the songs. I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the song. I think it's called Breathin'. She just like starts crying and like starts talking about her fiance and just like is very emotional. And this is somewhere in the middle of Tennessee.
While we're on the topic, what music does Cave want to introduce the coven to?
I think I'm actually playing some K-pop. It's one of his current interests that he got into because of one of his friends.
I mean,
he
it's
really
not
enjoys
bad.
it.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that has sort of been trying to keep him upbeat for a while. And it's like, this doesn't make you feel good and want to move, nothing will. It breaks even the language barrier.
Nodding to the K-pop, Albert is in the. So, are we in like a conventional moving like van? Like there's like a back storage camper attached? Is that what we're going
assume.
with?
I mean, just something
Yeah,
big enough to hold a statue of.
Right.
Already
So Albert's in the back, like riding in the container, but he's now begun to reconstruct his webby thingies with the twine. And he's nodding to the K-pop, and yeah, we'll leave him at that.
How did you feel about the Ariana Grande though?
Oh, she's so lovely. She can, and her voice is so incredibly pure. It's like an angel singing.
I mean, I'm sure you loved it, Albert.
Albert doesn't comment on it.
She just
But
still
he-
seems
but
like a
he
little
nods.
girl to me.
But he nods to the K-pop.
Does
And
Albert
Albert
play
is-
any, have
is,
them play any music, or is he just going to go with whatever they put on?
Albert is very busy trying to figure something out, and he's constructing stuff with the twine. He's setting up like a little web again. It's like those murder boards. He's doing that inside the camper, but in 3D space.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Abigail's going to try and guess what Albert might like, and is just going to put on like 100 greatest blues hits, and it's just like maybe this, and so it's like 4 straight hours of just like this, like the saddest, darkest blues music. It's pretty good though.
Yes. That's yes. And like that actually like helps him focus, and then like he gets more into what he's doing.
Like it's like Buddy Guy, BB King, or is it like the real gritty stuff?
Oh, it's all over the place. It's just one of those, compilations somebody put together on Spotify. So,
Yeah.
And then at some point, jazz blues comes on, and there seems to be a quiet reckoning within Albert of everything that reminds him of, and there's like a bittersweet realization on his face. He still enjoys the music, but not everything that it's attached to.
It's like his mom's favorite song.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
I don't want to set the world on fire.
I also put down Timeout by the Dave Brubeck Quartet. Timeout. Just some nice smooth jazz.
I'm really disappointed at the lack of show tunes, but I guess
oh, you want to talk show tunes?
Are there any popular show tunes lately that people are humming, singing, getting into?
Now, I am the very model of a modern major general of information as vegetable, animal, and mineral. Under the kings of England, and I quote the Vice Historical.
Somewhere around, God, I had the map pulled up of where we're all going.
Probably
somewhere around like North Kentucky near Louisville. Abigail just starts playing the art musical Octet and like explaining all the references to tarot in it and being like, now see this, and just like trying to convince you of its brilliance. And like, if you're not already like super indoctrinated in obscure art musicals, it's going to sound like nonsense to you. So I'm sure it sounds like nonsense.
At least you're not playing any glass. Book of Mormon. That's what we need to put on.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Okay. Side note, Josh Gad is doing the Central Park show, and if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's great. Moving on. You make it to Southern Indiana at some point the next day. Probably worn out and tired and, long road trip. When you arrive back at the house, you can see that Mel is not there. Raven's just like kicked up watching TV when you come in. And when you come in, she looks up oh, that's where you went.
Oh, yeah, we were at an epicenter.
Young lady, have you done your chores?
What chores?
You were supposed to clean the kitchen. It doesn't look very clean.
It's fine. I thought you all cleaned the kitchen.
We all have to pull our weight, and it's your turn to clean the kitchen.
White Raven was back. Does anybody care about that?
Okay, tell us about that, then you can go clean the kitchen.
Well, it came back and it was looking at me through the window and it flew off. So I got too scared of the kitchen.
Sensible.
What?
Oh, no, it's fine. I mean,
You're fine. You're great. You're fine.
Celtic goddesses just hanging around you willy-nilly, keeping you from cleaning the kitchen.
She's not a goddess. She's a harbinger.
Potato, hon.
You and your technicalities.
Where the hell have you been? Seriously. I haven't seen Melanie. I haven't seen... And like there was some fight last night and I came down and the kitchen's all broken up. It just all disappeared. No note. Okay, I guess I'm just going to be alone now.
We had told you we were going to New Orleans, and Albert was going to stay protect you, and then Albert got taken to New Orleans. But we have a new friend in the back of the U-Haul.
You put a friend in the back of a moving truck?
Yeah, it's a statue. Her name is Gwen.
Whatever. She looks annoyed, and she goes and storms off into her room.
I'll go talk to her if you guys want to help get Gwen settled.
Oh yeah, the guy with the broken ribs is going to help me out. This is all me. You do understand, right?
No, just she should be in the statue already. I asked her to go. You just have to like pull the ramp out, and like she can walk down it.
Don't worry about it, hon. You take care of Raven. I'll take care of this.
Okay. I'm going to go upstairs to Raven's room then.
All right. Well, she has her earbuds in, blaring something that sounds like noise.
Probably the obscure art and musical octet. Great show, everybody. Great show. I kind of like sit down on the end of the bed and like pat her feet or shins rather.
Takes the hair. What is it, Abigail?
I wanted to make sure you were okay. It must have been pretty scary not having us here.
I'm not okay, and no, I'm not scared. I just want to know why nobody's telling me about what's going on.
Well, we can tell you what's going on. We went down to New Orleans and things got really bad, and there was an earthquake, and most of the 7 are gone, and the one who's left is probably evil, and Albert's mom is coming to kill us all.
What's the deal with the ravens? Why are the ravens still coming?
Well,
there were thousands of them, and nobody was here. And I wouldn't know what to do, so I let some magic out, and I think I hurt some of them.
What magic did you let out, sweetie?
I was just frustrated, and it was like that time at home when I knocked down the beams of that barn, and it didn't look like anything. It just projected. But I think I hurt some of them, and I don't know if they're mad at me. I don't know if they're friends. I don't know if they're dangerous. But nobody was here.
Yeah, that's really hard. I'm sorry that you got left like that. We really didn't mean to do that, and if I had known, I would have stayed here. But like those ravens aren't real, right? Like they're magical creatures. So even if you hurt them, they'll mend more easily than flesh and bone, you know?
I don't know what they are. You're supposed to know this stuff.
Our best guess is they're magical creatures. Did the white raven say anything to you, or did it just look at you?
It just looked at me.
Okay. That's a lot. I'm sorry you had to deal with that alone. We should have been here.
She's had her phone. She's playing some match 3 game, and just puts her headphones back in.
I'm just going to sit here so you know I'm here. You don't have to talk to me. I'm going to look at my phone too, but I'm here. Scrolling through my phone.
I kind of want to see if this works. Let's just say we're in a mundane scene. So whatever aspect you might be in, I think you're probably mother.
Yeah.
Raven is upset as the conflict. What is the... I think befriend. This is a mercy roll.
Yeah. Sounds right. It's yet another 8. What a great night for 8s.
I think she's still annoyed and probably hurt, but after a while, she wants to play Mario Kart with you.
Yeah. It's because I find like a really good video on my phone of like a dog that sounds like it's singing, a Christmas carol.
Like one of
And
those
so
huskies.
yeah. And so like I show it to her, and in spite of herself, even though it's totally lame and totally like something your lame older sister would show you, I mean, it's a dog singing a Christmas carol. It's pretty cool. Very adorable.
So that snaps her out of it for the moment, but she's hurt by all of this, and
Yeah, we can go play Mario Kart, Raven.
play
That'd be
Mario Kart with
great.
you.
Yeah.
All
That'd be
right,
great.
so the Gwen, the statue Michael, is now lumbering into the house, looking around, scratches his neck. What else is going on?
As Raven and I come downstairs to go into the main room to play Mario Kart, I'm like, see, that's Gwen. That's our statue friend.
She kind of does like a
Oh, where's the cat?
the cat belongs to Mel, so I'm going to say she's with Mel.
Okay.
So you don't see the cat.
Makes sense.
I don't want to take Mac's character away from her. So what about Cabe and Albert? What are you doing now? We're in a mundane scene. You just got back. I don't know if you've heard about what happened while you were gone, but the kitchen is still trashed.
Because someone was supposed to clean it.
Oh, you're on mute.
I'm gonna start cleaning up the kitchen then.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I go upstairs real quick. I take a quick shower. I get into some sweats and a t-shirt, and then I go downstairs and I clean the kitchen. It's been a couple of days since I've showered, and I've been through hell, and I'm just going to do that for myself.
Albert has taken pictures of the webbing and the strings and the twine that he set up inside of the container, and he's now reconstructing it up in his bedroom. And he takes a few steps back, seeing it all, and he whispers to himself, "Of course, I miscalculated." And we'll leave it at that for him for the moment.
All right. So there is a knock on the door the next morning, which is unusual. Usually people just walk in. I wonder where the reception is. But whoever is...
I'll go to the door.
Okay. You see, it's Joseph. And he says immediately that we have a serious problem.
Come in.
He comes in. He still has his leather-bound Bible with him. He looks like he's been through hell. Not wounded, but weak, and like he's expended a lot of energy.
It's been a rough time. We were in New Orleans yesterday, or day before yesterday, or yesterday. The 7 are gone.
I know. We all felt their loss. You've been seeing ravens around here?
Apparently, they've been all over the place, according to Raven.
We were not here to see it, but she said that she was surrounded by them and thinks she may have hurt some.
They swarmed the station, our hearth. Their presence broke down our wards and our barriers. Myself and Alicia were the only survivors.
Oh, no.
We lost everybody.
We almost lost an entire city, including our lives. We were there with the 7. We just barely managed to survive ourselves. Albert's still nursing some broken ribs.
Before anybody
lost-
can go ahead.
We lost everybody. My whole coven is dead. They were ripped apart by witches. They stormed into our hearth. They broke through our wards and our barriers. They ripped us all apart. I'm the only survivor.
I start breaking down and crying. I am so sorry. These ravens are after everything, to destroy everything. Do you understand? It's the end times if we don't do anything. And we've been dealing with these idiotic petty squabbles amongst ourselves while this is happening. So you could either lick your wounds, keep on crying, or you can join us and we can fix this, and you can make the death of your friends mean something instead of absolutely nothing.
Abigail, before anybody can contradict her, says, we have a lot of spare rooms. You and Alicia can stay here. There will be safety in numbers.
He looks back and you see the kind of older hag that you've seen before a number of times come out of the old beat up Toyota. Thank you.
Do you need anything to eat? Here, I'll make some tea.
I'll go get a couple of rooms cleaned out for you. Hey, Raven, help me do this.
She's in a state of shock, but then after a beat, goes with you, dutifully.
Well, that is horrific. And I am so very sorry. I never wished any harm to you and yours.
Why didn't they come here?
We were in New Orleans.
They're trying to take down resistance?
It is a single witch. She is trying to perform a ritual to bring forth the war crow.
My mother, you mean? Albert
Yes.
chimes in from a balcony and walks in and joins the others.
They systematically took you out. They systematically took out the seven. And I think they came after us, but we weren't around.
I was around.
The girl is...
Raven says.
One of ours has disappeared. I don't know where she is.
He opens his Bible, begins praying.
Joseph, you stood with us when I needed your support. We'll stand with you. We agreed that this coven, this hearth, is still the sanctuary that it's meant to be for all witches who seek it.
Thank you.
I put down some tea, and there's some honey and sugar and milk. And then there's some cookies that I brought out as well.
There's something I've been puzzling for quite a while during our trip. Somewhere in between the Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande and the jazz music, everything came clear. My mother always wanted a world better for witches, and only witches. Something happened to her. Right after I was born, she became bitter, militant, as if the world owed her something. I'm beginning to understand, but I need some time to piece it together.
We
I
didn't
think there's a
officially
way.
say it, but this is a meeting, so if you need narrative control or introduce truths, you may.
I'm going to introduce the truth that now that Albert's had a near-death experience, basically, he's had a chance to reformat a lot of his views. And he now understands that in the veil on the other side, he's always felt the presence of another soul, almost as if a part of him is over there. He's now realizing that is his sister, a twin sister he shared the womb with. The prophecy was always that His mother would give birth to a very powerful daughter that would take her place and change the world to be better for witches, but she never had a daughter. She had me. That spirit, that daughter that was supposed to come, gave her life for mine. And she's never forgiven me for it. She either has decided to stop practicing the tradition of the spider grandmother to see the future, or she's lost connection to it because she blames the future for not playing out the way she wanted. But I have to be honest. I can't see how she could be so blind. Her actions that day, her whole plan, her wanting to destroy the world in this way is coming from anger. It's from frustration. She is not reading the veil. She's not seeing the future. She's not taking into account any of her actions. She's blind. Because if I could see the consequences of her actions, then why couldn't she? Unless she was already cut off long ago from her own anger, her own resentment. She hates herself. She hates the future. She hates just to hate. I don't know how to fight something like that.
Hate will take you over. It'll kill everything good and pure within you. Make you make choices straight for it. I don't know if there's any curing of this disease, my friend, but
it explains why she will continue to do what she does. She literally is no longer connected to the spider grandmother. She doesn't know that what she's doing now will bring the end of which kind. She doesn't see how we will become hunted if her plan goes through. There has to be a way to make her see.
Maybe we need to talk to Spider Grandmother and see if she can talk some sense into her.
Or I give my place for my sister.
Do you think your sister will just simply bolster your mother? After all, it was her intent to follow in her footsteps, so to speak.
I don't know. I'm just realizing these pieces myself.
Joseph looks up and says, "The heart of a person plans their way, but the Lord establishes their steps."
Exactly.
Proverbs tells us that no plan can suffer in the fate of God. God's plan is the only plan, no matter how many schemes you may put forward.
Your rooms are ready.
Thank you. You were all very kind.
I never not loved you. You're a kindred spirit, both of you.
I know.
I'm sorry we came into conflict, and I'm sorry these things were bitter in the past. And I cannot tell you how broken my heart is for your loss. And I am so very sorry. And please know that if I could have given myself in their names, I would have.
I believe you. I'm glad that you had her to protect your hearth for a time.
Something went wrong.
Joseph.
Albert was supposed to be here.
If my coming into being caused this, am I responsible for Armageddon?
No.
No one asked to be here.
I know a lot about being born into a life you don't particularly want. It's not your fault, and nothing that results from it is your fault. Albert, Don't try to take the weight of the world on your shoulders, because it feels better to pity yourself and to hate yourself than it does to actually grapple with the fact that you're alive. You don't
Truth-
know what's going to happen if you give up your place in the afterlife or whatever. You
Truth
do
of the
know,
thing is that this would have already happened if it wasn't for you, Albert.
yeah. You do know what can happen if you stay here. I mean, you don't know exactly what will, but you know what can. You know who you are. You know what you're capable of. You know who we are. You know what we're capable of. You know, and we have a giant statue.
Armageddon is God's plan. What is happening here does not belong to God. I must get my rest. Thank you. Alicia. He takes her and they go off to the rooms that you've prepared for them.
Have a good night. Let us know what we could make for you for breakfast.
Pop-Tarts.
God damn it, I gotta go shopping.
I downloaded a program on my phone where you can request for food to be delivered, and somebody will kindly fetch it and drive it to our place and deliver it. Afterwards, we would rate their service and provide them with a gratuity based on
I run to
quality
him,
of
I
the
grab
food
him by
and-
the shoulders, and I go, "My God, you've grown so much. I'm so proud." And I give him a big hug.
Also, I require a credit card. I can't beat the 51st level of this game, and I require 4 hammers for it to even be possible.
Okay,
They're
so
only
that's called
25
pay to
cents.
win, and pay to win is
don't do that.
wrong.
Don't do that. Yeah.
No, it's only this one time. I just need the 4 hammers
Uh-huh.
to beat this level, and
No, you're no.
afterwards I can.
No. I'm gonna email you an article on microtransactions. Hold on.
Yeah, no, just go look for like a strategy guide on YouTube or something to figure it out. Don't ever give them money. Listen, make a grocery list. I need to go see Megan anyway, and I'll pick up some groceries and bring them back home. So we don't have to send some poor Amazon Fresh driver out in the middle of the night.
I like
Actually, I don't know what time of day it is.
Albert looks down at his smartphone and says, "This infernal thing brings nothing but horror." And then he puts it back into his pocket.
Hey, Albert, are you on Tinder?
Shh. Don't tell him about
He
Tinder.
blushes a little. I had thought it was in my quest to procure building material and firewood. I saw a program called Tinder and assumed it had something to do with that.
Yeah.
I was very, very wrong.
Well, I wish you all the luck in the world, pal. I'm going to go get those groceries.
Okay. Why don't we go move into some montages then? I think so. Abigail's got some unfinished business, and we can kind of close the session a bit early, which is okay. It's kind of a very busy, full session, so that's all right with me. So how do you want to close it? Who wants to take it first?
Just the montage of me is me basically cleaning that kitchen.
Broken tile, broken pillar.
Yeah, but you see him sort of like very lovingly just sort of reassembling things. And the whole thing is there's our particular emotions that come out every time he picks something up to put it in its right place. So you just see a lot of thoughtfulness, and then there's some callbacks to past, with the first time I met Albert, the first time we ever had somebody show up here actually looking for hospice and help. I look at a spice rack, and I look at the spices and how we made cinnamon cookies and did it together as a group. Sort of just like a chain of images that sort of connect all of the individual members of the house into activities in this kitchen, and how this kitchen has almost become, nobody works in the office or in the rooms. Nobody really hangs out in the living room all much. This kitchen seems to be the center of this hearth, which is why he's so intent on making sure that it's back to some kind of working form.
What about Albert? How do you want to wrap with him?
Albert is in his room. He's reconstructing his web thing, and he traces one line all the way back to a corner wall, and he sticks a tag onto it like he's done so many times before. But this time, it's one string with two tags, one with the name Albert and one with the name Alice. And he begins the work of reconstructing the entire timeline, having this missing part of the equation intact.
All right, Abigail.
Abigail goes and, I mean, it's probably like a 10-minute scene where she buys groceries to get in all the product placement for this episode. She brings the groceries out to the car, and then she goes over to Megan's house, and Megan's apartment building is just like decimated. Like, it's clear that the Ravens have been here, that they were looking for Raven, that something was happening here. And Abigail, like, whatever was here is gone, and Abigail like rushes in, and it's particularly bad in Megan's apartment because that's where Raven was staying. There's feathers everywhere, and it's not immediately clear that Megan's here, although her car is. But Abigail runs to the back bedroom and sees the closet door shut tight, and she opens it, and Megan is like huddled there, very frightened, very scared, and just like steps up and goes into a hug, gives Abigail a hug because she's so happy to see her, clearly traumatized. And so Abigail makes a split-second decision and gets her in the car and drives her out to the hearth. So this is Megan. I think it would be best if she stayed here for a little bit.
Welcome home.
Oh my fucking God, I thought you were going to kill her.
No.
Hi, Megan. Welcome. Make yourself at home.
Well, you know, we gotta give Megan a little chance to shine. So, no.
Narrative control, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we have a few new members of the Hearth coming home. News from New Orleans is not good. Some freak earthquake hit. Lots of injuries. Nobody was killed. They never found bodies. Maybe there's hope.
If there ain't no hope, what are we doing?
All right, I think we will go ahead and stop there. This has been our episode. I'm just looking at my notes. We will be back in, I forgot to look at the calendar. 2 weeks. When is 2 weeks? We're already in August, people. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I know.
So that would be August 17th.
17th, yeah.
We will be here at happyjacks.org. Check us out /Great American Witch, and the other shows are on /shows. Remember that the Kickstarter is happening on August 10th, so I hope to see you there. Try not to blow my horn too much about that, but I'm very excited about it. I'm extremely excited about the way the game turned out. I'm also very excited about Minerva Fox, who's working on the cover. And I got an email earlier during this show that she has another thing for me to look at, and I have been dying to look at it. So that may have contributed to our shorter episode.
Saturday night, Minerva, Pooja, Mike James from the con, my wife, and Eli actually got together on Zoom and just got drunk together and just started shooting the shit. It was actually pretty great. It was just like a little cocktail party on Zoom, which was great.
That sounds fun. So yeah, I mean, that's it basically. So we will see you coming up in a couple of weeks. Any other announcements from you all? I think some of you have been busy.
We did Murmurs in the Abyss. We restarted our Cthulhu game that Stu is running.
Oh, good.
Along with Kimmy and Cabe and Pooja as well. We took a hiatus there for a while, but now we're back in the swing. We are dealing with Tesla and Einstein and the end of the world. So it's pretty fun. It ran on Sunday yesterday, and it'll be back up in a couple of weeks. I highly recommend going back and checking that out. It's actually a pretty dark, sinister Cthulhu fun ride.
Awesome. And Strategicon's coming back
Strategicon's coming back with another virtual convention in September for Gateway 2020. If anybody's interested in participating in playing or running any events, simply enter them as normal as you would into our strategicon.net system. And we welcome you to join us on our Discord channel when we hold our convention over the holiday weekend.
Awesome. Anything from Emily? I know you're working on some stuff.
Hey, I am in this game every other Monday night, and I am in a Savage Worlds game called Pembroke here on Happy Jacks on Wednesday nights. The tones of these two games could not be more different. This is sort of slow and quiet and serious, and like somehow I've become the comic relief caricature. The Pembroke game is very wild and weird and goofy. And I'm playing a mean girl there, which is a thing that comes surprisingly naturally to me, and I maybe need to think about that. You can also check me out on Twitter at twitter.com/EmilyVDW, and my scripted fiction podcast, Arden, ARDEN, is just about done with the first half of its second season. Our mid-season finale airs next Monday, and what I think is the best episode we've done to date dropped today. So if you're curious about that, check us out on all major podcast platforms.
Joe, do you have anything going on?
Ooh. Hey everybody, I am here on Monday nights for Great American Witch every other Monday. I'm also in Lighthearted, which is the Monday night where we're not doing Great American Witch. Again, also very different tone and feel and theme. There I play Zachary, rebel young Billy Idol, just was ADD before ADD was discovered, and it's a very fun time. It's very 80s. It's very loud. It's and it's a nice way for me to shed off some of the Albert that I put on. So if you guys enjoy my kind of storytelling fun, you can find me there at Lighthearted or every other week here at Great American Witch, which I also am. Absolutely.
Who's running Lighthearted?
Kurt Potts. That's his
Kurt
original
Potts.
game. Yeah.
So you're you're playing with the GM of the game that happens to be the game designer of the game that's being run. You lucky duck.
Yes. And that game is great. It's really
he's great too.
Game. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I'll throw in a little bit of a Marvel Easter egg ending for Albert for today's session. He uninstalls the game because he's looked into every possible timeline in which it's possible to win the game without buying the power-ups, and found zero. There's absolutely no way at all in any timeline to win the game without buying anything. And
hilarious.
He uninstalls the game.
Oh man.
Abigail wandering through the background is like, just cheat, dude.
Oh man, I love it. Okay, well, thank you all. We will see you soon, and thanks for tuning in. Looking forward to the next one. Hopefully we can avert Armageddon.
Yeah, well, always fun, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.